So you want a Sealion 6, but you need a 7-seater. Enter the BYD Tang DMi. Is it worth our money? Let's find out.
Okay. The front end of the BYD Tang DMi looks very similar to the front end of the Sealion 5. Yeah, so on the outside it looks very similar to the Tang EV as well, but it gets smaller 19-inch wheels. It looks a lot more angular than the Sealion 6. You have these faux air vents over here. You got this wide grille. You have these recessed headlamps over here. Unlike the Sealion 5, this comes with power folding side mirrors. Yeah, of course you have cameras here for the 360 camera system. You have roof rails. You have your fuel tank cap on the left side. And on the other side, you have your Type 2 CCS2 charging port. In terms of size, it is a bit longer than the Mitsubishi Montero, but it is a lot lower. Now let me show you what's under the hood. Do I have to pull on it twice? Okay, so this is what's under the hood of the Tang. As you can see, you can't really see much here. It's mostly covered in plastic. But underneath all that plastic, you have a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged gasoline engine and an electric motor which sends power to the front wheels. Now the total power output is 271 horsepower and 315 Newton meters of torque. Now that is significantly more than the Sealion 6. The motor gets juice from a 21 kilowatt hour battery, which is also bigger than the battery of the Sealion 6. The total EV range is 110 kilometers, and the total extended range is over 1,000 kilometers. Here at the back, the Tang 5 looks a lot more simple than the Sealion 6. You don't get as many sharp lines here. You have this LED light bar over here. You have a rear wiper, but it's hidden underneath this spoiler. It's right up there. You have your third brake light over here. Now, of course, the Tang DMi comes with a power liftgate. And to open the liftgate, now it took me a while to find the button, but it is actually not over here. It is over here. Now, since it's a 7-seater, you get a lot more cargo space here than on the Sealion 6. Now, with the third row seats up, I can fit my camera bag here and a couple of camera gear. If you fold the second row seats down, you get a completely flat flooring.
So far so good, but I do have some complaints about the car that range from minor to possibly deal-breaking. But before we talk about that, let's first hear a word from our sponsor.
Introducing the AutoSport Mobility Scooter, the world's most innovative mobility scooter. It folds into a small suitcase size and it has wheels so you can move it around like a trolley. It separates into two parts. It has leather seats and grips, an illuminated LCD dashboard, enhanced lighting for extra visibility. You can install optional armrests. It's perfect for seniors as it's easy to lift and unfolds in seconds. It has a maximum speed of 10 kph, shock-absorbing flat-free tires, high ground clearance, advanced braking system. Be free to travel anywhere, land, sea, or air. It has 20 kilometers of continuous driving range. Engineered with flair, designed with passion for performance. Be active, be free, be yourself. AutoSport, moving life.
so we're now inside the BYD Tang. Now, the interior looks very much BYD, but there's one feature here that is lacking. Actually, this is the only BYD that doesn't have that feature, at least here in the Philippines. The screen over here, this 15-inch screen, does not rotate. Functionally, it doesn't really change much, but it makes you feel like they scrimped on this feature. I mean, why put it on the Seagull, for example, if you can't put it here? It constantly reminds you that there was a bit of cost cutting that happened here. How much more expensive would it be if it had a rotating screen? I don't know. Anyway, the interior is pretty good. The seats are covered in leather. This is not Napa leather like on the electric BYD Tang, but it still feels pretty nice. Almost everything is covered in soft touch material. This is soft touch right here. This is soft touch. This is soft touch. This is leather wrap. This is leather wrap. You got a leather wrap steering wheel. Oh, it looks nice, but the thing is, the BYD Sealion 6, the interior of the BYD Sealion 6 also looks very nice. So this is not a significant step up from the Sealion 6, I would say, considering the price difference. Yeah, in terms of features, you also got ADAS here, you got adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, autonomous braking, the same as the Sealion 6. Yeah, so basically it doesn't have a lot of electronic features that are missing on the Sealion 6. It's actually the other way around. You don't get the rotating screen of the Sealion 6. You have a wireless phone charger, which is in here. You also got this. You also got storage underneath the center armrest. You have one USB-C port over there, one USB-A port. Okay, so here at the second row, space is okay, but it's not as good as on the Sealion 6. I have about this much leg room. Now you can move the seat forward and back, and this is its farthest position. I cannot move it further back. I can move it forward though. Headroom is about this much, which is about 3 inches. In terms of toys, you get 2 air vents back here, 2 USB ports, 1 USB-A and 1 USB-C port. You have map pockets on both front seats. You have this foldable armrest with 2 cup holders. And you have a panoramic sunroof that extends all the way to the back of my head. But I should mention that the cover for the sunroof is not completely opaque, so it lets a lot of light through. I can actually see the trees on top of me through the cover of the sunroof. If you're the kind of person who doesn't like to get any sunlight on their skin, then that might be something that you might need to consider. I just have one little issue with the car, and maybe it's not a little issue for some people. As you can see, the seat belt is on my neck. And that is an issue because 1, it rubs against the skin, which irritates my neck, and number 2, obviously this can be a potential safety issue if you get into an accident. Now this happens when you have the seat in its farthest position, which was the case when you drove here to Anvaya Resort, because the person sitting in front of me was I think 6 feet tall. The solution to this is to move the seat forward like so. And in that position, it's not as bad. It's on my collarbone now. Yeah, now this is a problem because, as you can see over here, the seat belt mount is not adjustable, and it's actually in front of the seat when you have it in this position. The actual long-term solution here is to have adjustable seatbelt mounts, or to mount it a little bit lower. Yeah, that's something that I think is worth mentioning. Now for comparison, this is the Honda CR-V. It's also a 7-seater, and it's just about as long as the Tang DMi. And as you can see, the seat belt is nowhere near my neck. The seat belt mount is a lot lower. It's also mounted further back, and this is also adjustable, but even in its highest position, the seat belt still does not brush against my neck. Doesn't matter which position I'm in. Okay, so as expected, there isn't a lot of space back here. Now this is the position of the seat when I was sitting there at the front, and in this position I have negative knee room. I would have to sit like this with my foot off the floor. But yeah, you can ask the person sitting in front of you to move the seat forward, and if the person sitting in front of you is generous, you can have a lot of knee room here, although that person would also have to have no legs at all. So you can see it's completely against the front seat.
We drove the Tang DMi from Manila all the way to Anvaya Cove, Bataan. Now usually I don't do very well on fuel economy runs as I have a heavy right foot, but we got to Anvaya Cove with over 900 kilometers of range left. So the range estimate seems to be on the conservative side, at least on long highway drives. I spent the first half of the trip at the back seat, and that's why I got intimately acquainted with the seatbelt as it was constantly rubbing against my neck. By the way, I should also mention that not a lot of people seem to be aware of the seatbelt issue until I brought it up. So it could be something that only affects people with certain builds like mine. Whatever complaints I had about the Tang DMi faded into the background as soon as I got behind the wheel. It has a level of refinement that matched or exceeded its price point. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it has ample power, and the torque is available as soon as you ask for it. If you're looking for a crossover from a mainstream brand that has the same level of refinement and comfort as the Tang DMi, you'd be hard-pressed to find any. The seats are comfortable, its ADAS features work well. There's really very little to complain about when you're in the driver's seat. The BYD Tang DMi sells for 2,098,000 pesos. Now I remember when the prices for the Sealion 6, the Seal 5, and the Seagull were announced, you could hear the collective jaws of the media drop to the floor because of how shockingly low the prices were. When the price of the Tang was announced, it didn't have quite the same effect. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think it's overpriced. And if you compare it to something like the CR-V Hybrid, the Tang DMi offers extremely good value. But on the other hand, there are also 7-seater Chinese plug-in hybrids like the Tiggo REEV that offer similar features and equally premium interiors for a lot less money. Now I have some minor issues with the Tang DMi, but overall it drives like a premium crossover should. It's quiet, it's comfortable, it has plenty of power and torque. It's almost excellent, save for a few debatable niggles, which should be relatively easy to fix.